I'm Steph from Stitching with Steph, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming along for another stitch with me today. Today we're going to be doing our unbranded Mayflowers design. It is 11 count, 35 by 35 centimeters. It consists of 23 colors, and I do have a link in the description for the design from 2 different websites. So if you're interested in these canvases, go ahead and click that link. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming along for another stitch with me today. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you're not a subscriber and this is the type of content that you like, go ahead and click that subscribe button, as I post several reviews throughout the week and several stitch with me's throughout the week as well. Lastly, I do have a Facebook group, so if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and down in the description, click the link for our Facebook group. It is Stitching with Steph. Answer the couple of questions, and I'll be more than happy to add you to the group. Also, if you like these type of videos and you like this canvas, go ahead and give this video a like. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's stitch with me. All right, guys, we are back for another week of Stitch with Me. Sorry if this one was posted a little late. This week has been kind of hectic for me between school and work and getting the garden up and established and all that fun stuff. So I am on color number 19. As you can see, I got like quite a bit done in through here. I got a whole bunch done over on this side over here. So I figured that I can keep stitching on this particular color, which is, let me grab my legend. On my legend, it says color 19 is 3805. So how's everyone else doing today? I hope good. I had to, this week, it's a little weird because my work schedule was a little wonky for the past couple of weeks. So I had less days off in a row than I usually do. So for me, I'm not, sorry, I'm going to switch hands so you guys can see a little bit better. My filming schedule's a little bit off, so, but that's okay. Nothing that I can't get caught up on, hopefully. Yeah, we've had a lot of rain here in Colorado, so I had to keep like a close eye on my garden so my beds and plants wouldn't get waterbogged. But in all reality, what it did was it really soaked my raised beds through all the way down to the bottom, which is nice because they needed that. And all of my plants are doing pretty good. I was working on that this week. Earlier today, I was working on, so the way my class is, we have a discussion post to do, two responses due in the week. We have a weekly lab, which is like a critical thinking assignment. And then sometimes we'll have a quiz, and then sometimes we'll have a quiz and a test due in the same week. So our discussion posts have to be like a minimum of 200 words. So that took me a little bit longer to answer some questions this week. And we have to read a chapter a week for class. So even though it's an online course, people don't realize like they are self-paced, which is nice, but they tend to have a lot more work for them because you're not in class for those lectures, right? So since I was, my days off are a little bit wonky this week, my first priority is always going to be my family, and then school, and then work. And then, unfortunately, my YouTube channel kind of takes a back seat. I'll still craft and I'll still stitch here and there, but to film a video just takes a little bit of work. So through the summer semester, I'll probably keep my Stitch with Me's under 20 minutes just because I kind of need that extra time to study and do my garden, just because we put a lot of time and money into our garden to help our family like survive and sustain ourselves a little bit. instead of depending on grocery stores. So I have to keep a close eye on that for like pests and weeds and make sure that I'm feeding my plants on a timely manner. You know, all the fun things that comes with gardening, making sure my plants are surviving. Like we were working on, I always work like a year ahead, and especially because next year on my garden, we're expanding and finalizing essentially all of our raised beds. So by the time garden season kicks off next year, I'll have 29 raised beds, close to 1,000 square feet of gardening space. So I was finalizing my plans for that, figuring out what seeds I need to purchase, uh, when I need to like plan for our delivery of soil next year, all that fun stuff, you know, like people don't realize you have your gardeners that do a couple of raised beds, but like I said, I have 29. So that's 29 raised beds. That's not including my container gardens that I have in my front yard on my front porch, which will have like things like pole beans, different varieties of lettuce, spinach I think I plan for next year, various flowers, because I can't grow in my front yard per se, like vegetable gardens. But if it's on my patio, they really can't say anything. So I do cooler weather stuff up there is what I plan for next year. So yeah, like I'll be growing um, almost 50 square feet of just Napa cabbage because we'll be making our own kimchi next year. Bear with me, I forgot my threader, so it's gonna be a second, guys. I was stitching in bed last night, so I forgot my little like my stitching basket that I use at home. It's just a little basket that holds like all my things. So it has like all of my stuff in there so I don't lose them. But we make our own kimchis. So like next year I'm going to be growing all of that cabbage. I'll be growing Korean radish. I'll be growing chives, stuff like that. Cucumbers because we do a cucumber kimchi. So essentially we're going to be doing like 3 different types of kimchis that we'll be growing in our own garden. So yeah, we were like planning all that stuff, and my husband supports it because one, he knows that again, like my cross stitching, he knows like gardening is like my second hobby next to cross stitching during the summer months. I love being out in my garden. I love playing in the dirt. I love being able to create things and feed my family throughout the year. So like we have a lot of stuff going into production next year, which is nice. Like we're doing carrots and peppers and onions and garlics and potatoes and sweet potatoes. Like our garden size is actually a really good size. So yeah, like I'm thankful for that, that we're able to be able to do that. I'm almost done with this color. So I might switch us and have us go over to color number 6 as soon as we're done with this one. Maybe if we have enough time. We'll see, because like I said, I'm going to try to keep my stitch with me's under 20 minutes just because I don't have that extra time with all those stitch with me's plus my reviews. I don't have an extra 20 minutes per video right now. That's how tight my schedule is right now, but that's okay. All right, it looks like we're running out of thread. I'm gonna pause us and I'm gonna rethread for color number 6. All right, so I went ahead and got our needle threaded for number 6, and we're just gonna start right here. And it says number 6 is color 597. So what I'll do is, again, I'll try to keep it under 20 minutes just because hopefully it gives you guys enough time to do your stitch with me's and have someone to keep you company. I just feel like summer's already starting to fly by, and I'm like, where is the time going? Like I said, I was originally going to take 2 classes, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because good golly, Miss Molly, the workload for this one class is a lot. If I would have done 2, I literally would not have had any time to even get my garden up and running. So that's okay, no big deal. Okay. Okay. I like using these scissors for when it's really super close, just because they cut pretty well, is what I've learned. Alrighty. So yeah, I've just been chugging away. Today I woke up with a migraine. So it's actually like 7 o'clock at night while I'm stitching this one. And this is my first video that I have filmed this week. And I'm just like, and I go back to work tomorrow. So I don't know if I'll be able to load mini stitch with me's this week. I know I'll be able to do my reviews, but I don't know about my stitch with me. So I'm asking you guys to give me a little bit of grace, just because it takes a lot of time to film stitch with me's. I don't think a lot of people realize that, just because we have to do our setups and all that fun shenanigans. I find it odd how this color blue is like pretty close to the color blue on the canvas. I didn't think, I just grabbed this color because I was like, oh, well, there's a lot that we could stitch with this color, not realizing that it was close in color. So sorry about that, guys. Can you believe it? We're already at the end of May. I can't believe it. I'm like, where is the time going? And my kids are like in full swing summer vacation, guys. When I say these kids are loving being able to sleep in and kind of do things that they want, I'm one of those parents. Just like us as adults, we need breaks, right? Like from everyday life. I'm not one of those parents that jam packs their summer schedule full of activities, because I'm just like, I know how mentally and physically exhausting that can be. And I'm a big fan of mental health, because I feel like a lot of the issues we have in our world today are due to mental health issues that are not being addressed. So I let my kids tell me when they're ready to like go do things. We do our family activities, of course, naturally, but I don't force my kids into like sports or anything like that. Because I was one of those kids that got, my dad like made me do sports plus work plus go to school. And now it's like I have a hard time knowing when to relax, if that makes sense. Like I feel like because I was raised that way, I feel like I always have to be doing something. Like I can't just stop and quote unquote smell the roses per se. Sorry guys, I had to fix that. I can't quote unquote like stop and smell the roses per se. So I've had to learn as I've become an adult that it's okay to slow down, and it's okay to enjoy the moments. And it's okay that if everything doesn't get done in one day, that there's always tomorrow. So it is hard to make that mind shift, but also I don't think people realize if you overwork yourself, it doesn't get you any place faster. It's kind of like, when you're on the road and someone's speeding and like weaving in and out of traffic because they're in such a rush, and you both are still at the red light together. I feel like life is kind of like the same way. So Like my daughter, when she was in high school, I told her not to take AP classes to focus on taking college courses, right? But all of her friends in school were bragging about how they're in AP classes and this and that. But then here's my daughter graduating high school already almost done with her associate's degree. And her friends are barely her friends are barely like going into college. So I was like, now do you see what I mean? Like going against the norm or always go, 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 go is not a good thing. So yeah, I've had to retrain myself in my mindset, to be honest, with those things, which was definitely very hard. But I always told my husband I didn't want our kids to do what we had to do growing up. Like we had to grow up way too early and we were forced into like all these things when we were younger. So again, there's nothing wrong with quote unquote hard work, but you don't have to overexert yourself and exhaust yourself to get to the same end result. Like my daughter, we enrolled her in her fall classes. She's all set for fall. And she's like, oh my God, I'm really going to college. Like, I'm really doing this, Mom. I'm like, yeah. Because she's going to get her radiology tech license first. So that way she can work in the hospital just to have some healthcare experience while she's knocking out her bachelor's degree and then all that stuff to apply to radiology, a a doctor of radiology program here in our state. So yeah, she has it all laid out for like the next 8 years of what she's supposed to be doing for school. So if anything, I think she's a planner because it helps her have a peace of mind of like what she's doing in life, right? She doesn't do well. I can't say she doesn't do well. She does okay, but it does stress her out of changes, like last minute changes. So for her, she needed to know what her long-term goal was. Like she was looking at all of her classes and schooling and she's like, wow, I'm going to be living at home forever. And I'm like, well, if you want, like you can live on your own. She goes, no, I like living at home. I just realized I didn't realize like how long I'd be living at home, right? So she was just kind of dumbfounded. Like she knew her college was going to take a while, but like her friends were like, you're not like going away to college? You want to stay living at home? She goes, why would I leave? Like I have a good relationship with my parents. She goes, my mom cooks us food. She goes, all I have to focus on is my like working when I can between my schooling workload. She goes, and my mom and dad like take care of the rest. Like why would like my parents sacrificed a lot in their life to make sure that me and my brothers have the opportunities that we have. So when she told her friends that way, she goes, my parents pay for everything. Like why would I want to go and like live on my own and do all that by myself? Plus, have to worry about going to school and doing all those things. And she goes, why would I stress myself out for that? And I was like, sometimes a lot of college kids want to get away from home, right? Because their parents were too overbearing or they didn't give them freedom or they don't have good home lives, like sometimes that's why they want to leave. And I get it, but she's like, not me. She goes, I'm staying at home until I'm done with my doctorate program and I get a job and I'm done through my residency and everything. I was like, well, what if you get like all that stuff out of state? And she goes, well, then I guess I'll just have to deal with that when it comes, which is good. And my husband and I have already discussed that. Like, if that happens, we'll support her because let's be honest, while they're going through that, they don't really get paid a lot in residency. And then if they take student loans, they don't, it's hard for them to pay that back. So we were talking about at any point, if our kids ever had to do any of those things, like we would just take care of it for them. Like our point in life is like, we're getting to that point, like, even though I'm in school, um, again, we're paying my college cash. So I won't have any like student loans or anything like that. So for me, it's like once I am done with school, like we don't have any debt besides our mortgage. Like we're financially capable of doing that. So for us, we're just like, we just want to save to retire at this point, which we have. We have money investments and stuff, but like with everything that's going on here in the States, like our portfolios keep jumping up and down and, all that fun crap per se. But our goal is once we come to go to retire, I'll probably still stay working at the hospital, PRN, which means like whenever I want to pick up shifts, right? Just to have some money coming in, some spending money, and to keep myself busy when I'm home. But our goal is to get like a trailer and a truck and just kind of travel around the US, go sightseeing and do all those things. Like once our kids are older and they're all done with school, like wouldn't that be fun? Like just puddle futzing around the country. I think that would be fun. So that's what we said we wanted to do, was to travel a lot. And it's because we didn't have a village to raise our kids. So we didn't get to travel a lot when our kids were younger. And of course, now that they're older, all this crap is going on here in the US that it's like you have to be careful with traveling. And it's just, we just have a lot of work to do the next couple of years, I feel like. My husband and I, we're okay with that. We've come to terms with it. But yeah, that's what we've been up to this past like week. It's just making plans, laying out like what's going to be happening this summer, making plans for our garden. Yeah, stuff like that. Not anything too exciting, but stuff to keep us busy at home. Like we were talking about like our 10-year goal, stuff we want to do like in the house and stuff like that. Like we want to turn one of our we have a flex space is what it's called. Right now we just use it for the kids' toys. But once the kids outgrow all those toys, which they're getting to that age now, I want to turn that into a home library. So we were talking about that. We were talking about when we finish our basement, the other half of our basement. Originally, we were going to do like a family space, but I think what we're going to do is add a secondary. Like we have one bathroom down there already, but we want to add a secondary bathroom and a large room down there. Um, just so that way, like my daughter's like, I don't want to stay in the basement. And I was like, well, if you don't want to, we can put your youngest brother down there. And we were talking about, because we have 4 bedrooms and a loft, like a sitting area upstairs for our upstairs, our second story. I was like, we can combine 2 rooms into one to make her have like one really large room, right? So we were talking about like, regardless, we need to move one of the kids downstairs and we're going to convert 2 rooms into one. So it's like one huge room. So that way the kids, they're good sizes now, but I just want them to be comfortable because 2 of them plan on going to school for their doctorate. So it's like one of those things of like, they need to have their space to study and be comfortable and be an adult, right? Like that's the whole thing. So we're talking about that, just expanding one room into 2 because we have the space in our house. We'll just take out a wall and close up the doorway, which is no big deal. I think what I'll do is I may finish this column here, and that will be done for this week's Stitch with Me. Right now I do post 7 days a week. I might go down to like 5 just because those 2 extra days may be worth it for me. You guys will know by the end of the week of how many videos I posted. Yeah. Alrighty. Sounds like my kids are stirring. They're probably going to be coming in a minute like, Mom, what's for dinner? I'm like, all the leftovers that you guys haven't ate in the fridge for the past 2 days. Sounds like my dogs. It's so funny because right before I came to do this stitch with me, I took them outside to play and go to the bathroom, and I cleaned up the yard because I'm going to mow the lawn later around 7:30. Just because the sun has set on that side of the house and it's shaded in the backyard now. Um, so I cleaned up the backyard today. All right, friends, that concludes this week's Stitch with Me for our Mayflowers canvas. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you want to follow me on any other social media accounts, I do have a TikTok as well as an Instagram. My user handler over there is stitching_with_Steph. If you want, feel free to go ahead and head on over there and give me a follow over there. And if you want to join our Facebook group, you're more than welcome to click in the description box, the Facebook group link, and it'll take you directly to it, answer a few questions, and I'll be more than happy to add you to the group. As always, thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed my content. I will see you guys in another video, either a stitch with me or a review. Have a good day. Bye-bye.